minds think alike. Great minds podcast. Great minds think alike. Great minds podcast. Great minds think alike. Great minds podcast. Great minds think alike. Let's rock. You're now tuned into the Great
All right,
Minds
welcome to the
Podcast.
Great Minds Podcast. This is Derrick.
This is Vaughn.
And we're back with 90s hip hop.
90s hip hop, yeah.
Yeah. Also, the golden era, I feel like, of music.
Definitely is.
You know, we always, I guess we sound like old heads when we say it. You know, like I kind of equate that to like, you know, like when 90s R&B was out, you'll have old heads like, oh, it was nothing like the 60s. You know what I'm saying? And I like we them dudes now.
I guess you could say that, but a lot, you know, you're getting older when you hear somebody remake a remake.
Word.
You're like, yeah, that's a remake, but you know the original, but you remember when it was hot, when it was the first remake. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that makes it official. Like somebody do like a new group do Jagged Edge Gotta Be do like a remake.
Yeah, you're like, what?
You like, yeah, they doing that?
Yeah, that's
You're
crazy.
like, yo. But we weren't saying anything when Mary J. Blige just doing Sweet Thing. You know what I'm saying?
Nah, but best believe someone did Sweet Thing right now. The crazy part about it is that people will do a remake, and the younger generation won't realize that was a remake from a remake too. They have no idea. They'll think that like the Mary J. Blige is the first song.
Right.
But they heard with that, which is crazy.
So let's go through the criteria. Because it's funny, I had a couple people hit me was saying like, "Yo, I had to check the date on this album or that album." It was like, "Oh, I saw that was 2002."
Oh, they thought we were playing around. See, the decade's so long, and it's 2021 right now. People really forget.
Yeah,
like,
yeah, definitely.
You know, the time.
Mm-hmm.
Hilarious.
All right, so we're gonna go again. What we did with the R&B episode, we'll go 1990 through 99. So all body work through there. So we're gonna start with the top 5 groups.
You kick it off.
So I'm gonna go number 5. This is actually my favorite rap group, and I thought going into it that I didn't think they were gonna make it because they only had one album, but they ended up making it. So I got the Locks at number 5.
Formerly the Warlocks.
Yeah, formerly the Warlocks. Just from like, you know, the album they had, the Getting Jiggy joint. When you really tap into it, when you get past like the Getting Jiggy, even the Getting Jiggy got bars on it.
Yeah, it was tough. It was tough.
You get past that, you got All for the Love, the Jadakiss joint. And then you got them on like the Mona Lisa joint when you first heard them.
Yep.
And the reason, if I did like an all-time list, like the Locks would be, I don't know, probably top 2.
Top 2, I say that.
And We Are the Streets came out in 2000. That probably would have shot them right to number 1, if not at least number 2. Had that not come out. 2000.
You remember Bad Boy had that mixtape that came out when we was in high school, probably like 96 or something like that, where Locks were all over that mixtape, like crazy. They had like a lot of guest appearances. So that's kind of why I really, really first heard the Locks, like in 96.
Yeah.
I didn't really hear them when they was the Warlocks. Maybe it just was too young. You know what I'm saying? But I wasn't really listening to them. But yeah, they definitely.
Yeah, I got the number 5, and the fact that they had 21 songs on that album, and it was dope content. I mean, granted, a couple skits here and there, but I got the Locks number 5.
No doubt. All right, my number 5, I have Bone Thugs and Harmony. You know what I'm saying? I think they're probably one of the most unique groups in hip hop in the 90s and probably hip hop ever. You know, and plus I think they're the only group ever that recorded tracks with Pac, Big, and Big Pun. I don't think no other group has ever done that. And then that E 1999 Eternal album, that's like a classic album. You know, you had to kind of really, really be on their wave to get what they were saying because of all the harmonies and everything. But they had a bunch of hits on that album. And they pretty much put Cleveland on the map worldwide. You know, we wasn't really, at least over here, wasn't really checking for Cleveland musically. Like, you had the Leverts, you know what I'm saying? But I'm talking about hip-hop wise. So I think they kind of paved the way for a lot of the, you know, the hip-hop that you hear today, the singing hip-hop, you know. So that's number 5 group.
Who's your favorite rapper out of that group? Wishbone?
That's tough. Nah, that's tough because
Wishbone was last.
Yeah, Wishbone was last. No. Flesh and Bone was last because Flesh got locked up. So what happened is they were all together and he got locked up and then they dropped and he wasn't around for any of like the first album too. But I would say Crazy or Busy because
definitely one and two. I like Busy though
because Busy was so different. You know what I'm saying? Like, and he was just very very unique with it. So it's either Crazy or Busy, but they all got theirs during that time though. It was their time.
All right, number 4, I got Tribe Called Quest.
All right.
If you want to just talk about head nod music, I mean that's what it is. So you got the low end midnight, the low end theory joint.
Low end theory. Yeah.
Like the electric relaxation that you hear when the Wayans brothers come on.
For real, the first time you ever heard a song like that, like a rap song I heard as a theme song.
You got Scenario.
Crazy.
Fifing, Q-Tip, and those joints still knock. Like the bars are still
top notch.
Hard. That bust off on your couch line is like, yo, that joint is golden now.
Yeah. Fife was different, man.
Yeah. So I got them number 4, man. Definitely one of the greatest groups of all times. Had about, I want to say about 3 or 4 albums in the 90s.
Yeah.
Definitely some solid work. I got Tribe Called Quest number 4.
Yeah, if you get a chance, check out that. I know you probably saw it, but that documentary that Michael Rappaport did on them, that was dope.
Yeah.
Oh, you didn't see that? He does a documentary on Tribe Called Quest. He really goes in. This is right. I think it was right. It was after Phife died, but like he's in it though. And going to like them fighting and why they were breaking up and all types of things. Because Phife and Q-Tip had like a weird relationship. They were really like brothers, knew each other since they were like kids.
Mm-hmm.
And they fought like cats and dogs.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So he goes into that. All right, my number 4, I got Mobb Deep. Got Mobb Deep just because for the lyrics and production, it was just insane. And with Havoc producing everything, he kind of kept those beats just for Mobb Deep. He wouldn't give them to anybody else.
Yeah.
And I think he kind of, not on him, the group kind of laid out the blueprint for like many other acts in the 90s, like Capone Noriega. If it was no Mobb Deep, no Capone Noriega, they, showed us Rapinoid, came out of that. A lot of other factors popped up, and they were riding that Queensbridge wave, even though, Prodigy wasn't from Queensbridge, but Havoc was, but he was pretty much adopted. That's like Queensbridge, so we all know that. But, they had the infamous Hell on Earth and Murder Music. These are the 3 albums that stuck out to me in the 90s from those guys. And they were one of the only East Coast rap groups that went back at Pop with Drop a Gem on them. Nobody else wouldn't go back at them, really. You had like the LA stuff that was more about Snoop and them, but no one really wanted to go at Pop. And they stood up and they went at him. Basically, they didn't say his name, but you knew what they was talking about.
Right.
Raped on Rikers Island. It's doing saying all types of stuff. And no one would do that. So that's my number 4.
All right, number 3, I got the Fugees.
Solid.
It's just, one of the biggest albums worldwide, and I don't really judge it off of that. I just think the album just had that album and the collection of, the 3 of them just was like magical. Like,
yeah,
Praza's not a great rapper, but he did his job. Like,
he did it very well.
Very well. He was like Dennis Rodman for them. Like, yo, just get these boards.
Yeah, he was kind of like the even killed one. It seemed like he's the one that was able to kind of keep everything kind of going. Yeah. Kind of from the outside looking in, it seems like.
And then they're from Jersey, so that gave me like a little boost and more incentive to listen to him. Lauren, we know, is dope. Wyclef, crazy talented, could do like the singing. Was good enough with the rapping.
Plays instruments, production.
Yeah. And they just knew how to make songs. And the score, man, one of the best group albums ever. So I got Fugees number 3.
But all right, so you're putting the Fugees because of Lauren and Prize, like El Superstar came out in the 90s. The Education Lauryn Hill came out in the 90s. But the group only had really one real big album in the 90s.
Yeah, I like the score, man. They had the other joint right before. I can't remember.
That joint didn't count.
That wasn't it. But yeah, man, I thought they put it together well. I thought they were a well-balanced group. Yeah. So I'm rocking with them at number 3.
All right, no doubt. All right, my number 3 was A Tribe Called Quest. Pretty much for everything that you pretty much said, but they were like I would say they were unique, but they were like conscious rappers, right? So they came from the whole native tongue, set up with Queen Latifah, Money Love, Jungle Brothers, De La, leaders of the new school. You know what I'm saying? What's for them? We probably from that Scenario remix. We talked about that offline like years ago. Like I think that's probably the best remix ever. The Scenario remix. You know what I'm saying? So I think it just was a perfect mix with Phife and Q-Tip and Ali Shaheed Muhammad, and even Jerobi did his thing. You know, they all played their parts on what they were doing. The albums that they currently had during that time that I thought that stuck out to me was again, Low End Theory, was the Beats and Rhymes and Life that came out. I think came out towards the end of the decade.
Yeah.
The Love Movement, People's Instinctive Travels in the Paths of the Rhythm. I think that was the first album, and then it goes back to the Electric Relaxation. Like again with the Wayans Brothers, I never saw it with my own eyes. A song that I was listening to in my car being played on WB.
Yeah.
Never
mainstream
saw
TV.
Mainstream TV. So they're just a dope group.
All right, number 2. I got Wu-Tang Clan. Which I mean, the 36 Chambers, and they were dope because they were all so talented. And so
you said Wu-Tang number 2. So I can't wait to hear number 1.
They were just, talented. Meth, had the signature flow. Still one of the best like flows and cadences ever. Ray and Ghost. Ghost was actually my favorite rapper, probably like 8th grade through like 10th grade. So I really like Ghost. 36 Chambers was just crazy. RZA on the production.
Yep.
Wu-Tang Forever. It was a solid project, not as dope as the first one, I don't think.
I think because it's a double CD.
Yeah. Because then you start to,
some fillers in there.
Yeah, exactly. So I got Wu-Tang number 2, man.
I'm not mad at that.
I already know who you got number 2. Go ahead.
All right, number 2, I got Outcast. Outcast number 2. Outcast number 2. Like, I just remember that's like was the most unique group at the time. I remember watching that. And I remember seeing Southern Playlist of Cadillac Music, and it was actually off the Christmas album. I remember watching it on BET. I'm like, yo, who are these guys? Like, you got Dre rapping with his shirt off in the woods or whatever they doing, playing pool. Like, it looked totally crazy. And they were very unique. They were themselves. They were both lyrically gifted and versatile. Like, whatever you want, they had. Like Dre gets more credit than Big Boy, but Big Boy is just as nice. I just think people related to Dre more because Dre had like a melodic flow. Big Boy would take a lot more chances with his delivery and his music, but then you had the whole Dungeon Family sound, and those albums back then, you can tell they were so cohesive. You had the same production. You can just tell, like, it wasn't like, I'm going to go grab this Swiss beat, I'm going to go grab this Timbaland beat, and we're going to make an album. No. They were like, yo, we're going to sit, chill, eat together. You can tell in the music. So that's why it always stuck out to me. So that's my second top group of the 90s. And then we got Aquemini. The albums are ridiculous. So, but the Southern Playlist of Cadillac Music album, of course, AT Aliens. But I think Aquemini was the album that pretty much just stamped them, like especially stamped Dre, like saying like this is what they're gonna do, like, and no one was messing with them.
I think I have to go back like as a grown up and give those albums like a real.
You have to.
No, serious, like a real honest listen, right?
Yeah.
It's just like some, I don't know, maybe they didn't stick with me at the time, and then
it was different. Like it wasn't the normal what you were used to hearing, especially Atlanta wasn't popping like that.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like it was like, oh, everybody like Young Thug or Future. It wasn't like that. You had Jermaine Dupri, Dallas Austin,
right?
Yeah, yeah, R&B. About Atlanta, like TLC, Escape. All the those great acts. But then when they came out, they just was just different. You know what I'm saying? Then they spawned Goody Mob. Well, Goody Mob was already with them anyway, but they kind of like, had Goody Mob came out, they had that whole movement. So I think they put that battery. Atlanta wouldn't be Atlanta, hip-hop wise, without Outcast.
True.
All
right, number 1.
Uh-oh.
We get some horns, man. Number 1.
So horns number 1? So horns number 1, it's gotta be somebody, crazy. Wait. It gotta be number 1. Hold up. You want the horns, huh? What's number 1? What's going on?
Yeah. Let's get the horns right. Number 1 got Mobb Deep, man.
Woo!
You know, man, I grew up listening to Mobb Deep. I kind of, you know, when I did music, my cadence was after Havoc. You know what I'm saying?
Havoc was crazy.
Yeah, I think he's very slept. Everybody talks about P. You know, and P's got like the unorthodox flow. I like Havoc a little better, at least during the time.
If I'm not mistaken, I think I could be wrong. Did you read Prodigy's book back in the day? You
No.
read it? It's a good book to read. I read it like years ago. But if I'm not mistaken, when they met, I think I could be wrong, but I think Havoc taught P how to rhyme or something like that. It was something where he taught him how they met in school or whatever. He kind of like put them on. Either somebody put somebody on how to rap.
Well, that makes sense because with Havoc being a producer, you know what I'm saying, he's got that ear. But yeah, man, you got Hell on Earth, Infamous, Murder Music,
Right.
and then Infamy came out in 2001. Like it wasn't even close to Infamy was in '99.
Where that's when P, I think, after Murder Music, he was like a top 2 or 3 rapper, right? And Havoc was like a top 2 or 3 producer, right? And then once the whole Jay-Z Summer Jam thing happened and Infamy came out, it's like he just focused so hard on Jay-Z that his whole focus changed. Like it was just strictly about, like, that whole album was about Hov. Every bar is about him.
He was tough though.
No. It was dope. But I'm just saying, like, he kind of like changed his focus. And I think that messed him up a little bit in my eyes as far as like me hearing them. You know what I mean?
Right.
But he still was dope though.
I got Mobb Deep number 1, man.
All right. Yo, you know what's crazy? When I realized that Havoc used the oven for the Star of Shook ones.
Yeah.
Yo, I went crazy. I was like, it made sense. I heard it a couple years ago, but when I heard it, I'm like, yo, it makes so much sense. He's like, yo, I just listened to that and put it on the beat. That's crazy. All right, let me go. My number 1, hold the horn. Number 1 gotta be Wu-Tang. My Wu-Tang is the number 1 group of the 90s to me. To me, it's by far. You right? And I can tell you why it's by far. All right, I saw this quote that I wanted to, bring up. So basically said it was by a guy named Henry Adasso from was it liveabout.com. He basically put their classic albums spawn classic albums.
You mean like the
so basically
Chambers, or there's some of their solo stuff?
So basically 36 Chambers and say Wu-Tang Forever are classic albums. And say if you don't put Wu-Tang Forever in, and say you don't, say you put 36 Chambers. That spawned Old Dirt Brooklyn Zoo. That spawned the Purple Tape. That spawned Ghostface Joint. That spawned all these great albums. It came off of that one album, pretty much. And y'all think you're never gonna see a group. We got 9 people that all 9 had solo deals. You're never gonna see that. Like, and they kind of changed. And that's back when it was like a weird time because you had them, and they came out in '93. Then you still had like the rugged rap Timberlands and Havana Joes and stuff like that. People were still wearing that. And then all of a sudden, Biggie and them started popping. And then it came to like popping champagne and doing different things. Like Puff was kind of taking over that stuff. They still stayed true to themselves and still was able to have their lane and do what they did. So, from that being said, we're never gonna see another group like that ever. I mean, influence-wise, culture-wise, you go anywhere in the world, you go to W Up, people know what you're talking about. And again, they only had 2 albums during that time. But again, it was RZA produced. You know what I'm saying? It was RZA. It was like concise. RZA was doing everything. Could be a good thing, could be a bad thing, but he was controlling it. So you're never gonna see that again. Like, I don't think so. That's why they were the number 1 group by far. Never gonna see anything different.
All right.
You know what I'm saying? But I do have honorable mentions though. Who you got for honorable mention?
Honorable mention. I had Smith and Wesson.
Oh yeah.
I had OGC. And Helter Skelter. Bouquet Click.
Yeah, Bouquet Click then. Right. Yo, it's funny.
I already know one of yours is. If you forgot about them, I'm disappointed. Go ahead.
Nah, damn well I'm not. I know you know who it is. So I had Bouquet Click. Because basically you had Helter Skelter, that people that don't know, that's Sean Price and Rock.
Mm-hmm.
They basically, and at the time, that was one of my favorite groups too. Yeah, Black Moon, yeah, OGC.
Mm-hmm.
That fantastic. What's that? Fantastic Five. What's that? The joint they have.
Like it's like Starting Five or
Like yes, y'all. OGC Helter Skelter. Yeah, that's one of the craziest.
Yeah, the video in the gym.
Yep.
Yeah.
You had Operation Lockdown from Helter Skelter, but then I had Fuji, the For the Fly Escoshka. Yep. I had Fuji's, you know, as Honorable mention. I had Know You by Nature.
Yeah, I had them in the mix too.
You know, I had Cypress Hill, Brand Nubian, Gangstar.
You forgetting the big one. I'm very disappointed in you right now.
Camp Low.
Okay.
Of course they there. I had Pete Rock and CL Smooth, and then I had the Roots, because I think the Roots was the first time I've really heard. I mean, a band, like a whole crew. When it's like 9, 10 of them, and then they kind of morphed. People kind of left. You got a guy that used to beatbox. I think Rozelle was his name. You had him. Then you had Black Thought. You had Questlove on the production, in the drums. I never saw like a band doing that. You know what I'm saying? They still they on Jimmy Kimmel right now, right?
Mm-hmm.
So this is 20 plus years later.
Right.
Definitely.
All right, let's go artists. I'll let you set it off. You got number 5.
Set it off number 5. All right. Number 5. Number 5, I have Snoop. I have Snoop number 5.
You about to say Young MC or something?
Nah, I'm saying Snoop. Basically his style and cadence. I think we never saw anything like that at the time, and especially when he started. You know, I remember like the video of Nothing But a G thing. Dre pulling up to his house, and his sister or whatever saying, "Oh, Snoop's in the back," and Dre pulling him up, and he's doing his cadence. He's kind of real shy. Like he's like a rapper that doesn't want to look at the camera. You know what I'm saying? Maybe he got a case he's trying to duck or something. Who knows? But he didn't look at the camera. I think he kind of ushered a new style of West Coast rap. You know what I'm saying? He pretty much arguably has the best debut rap album. You know, you can say that with Doggy Style, because I actually throw the Chronic in there, because I think that people, you know, Chronic is Dre's album, but Snoop was all over the Chronic. And you can tell that was his influence from like Let Me Ride. I think he wrote that. Like, you know what I'm saying? So I count that as his first album. Then you have, you know, Doggy Style. And then later on in the decade, he had The Dogfather. It wasn't compared to the other ones, but I think the damage was done for the 90s with him anyway. Like, from Murder Was the Case, he didn't ever do anything. He could do a straight dud. It was still going to be, he'd still be my list. Who you got?
All right. 5, I got the dog, DMX.
All right.
You know, obviously, just, I mean, on the strength of the first 2, you know, it's Dark and Hell High. I know you wasn't a big fan of Flesh of My Flesh. I thought it was fire. And then There Was X, had a couple joints on there, but I think, like you said, kind of like Snoop, you know, I feel like he did enough damage early on. He was different. You know, I'd
never seen that
anybody, before. Never seen anything like that, and he made it work. So I got X number 5.
Well, all right. The funny thing about X, like, I didn't like Blood's Blood. I told you that. What was it? Flesh My Flesh, Blood of My Blood. Yeah. I heard it one time, never heard it again. I heard like Blackout, you know, a few songs, but I'm like, nah, I'm good. Then there was X. I've never heard that whole album, right? And the thing is, I think as time went, I got sick of the dog stuff.
I got you.
Like I kind of was like, I seen that, but I was on DMX before 98 though. So when he was doing like Usual Suspects, when he was doing, you know, those records and stuff with Ja, you know, and stuff with Holt, like I was on that before. And then by the time 98 came, 99, I was like, yo, I'm kind of over that aspect of it. Not saying he wasn't nice. It just was like, you know, but I ain't mad at that though. The dog held it down. All right, my number 4, I got Ice Cube. I think Ice Cube is probably one of the best storytellers we have next to Slick Rick and Big and people like that, you know, in that vein. His subject matter was crazy. You know, he wrote about racism, political issues, also gang issues, community issues. He kind of made you feel like he gave you a real West Coast perspective of LA, not from a gangbanger, but from someone that's associated with it or around it. You know what I'm saying? He really painted a good picture. He took on NWA by himself.
Yeah.
On his departure by himself. You never seen somebody going out of a whole group like that.
Well, he was the only one that could rap.
He's the only one that could rap. I think Ren could rap. right? I think
I
Ren
mean,
could rap.
on Cube's level though.
Yeah.
You know, Easy didn't write anything, so like,
Nah, you know that was Cube writing it, but
right.
but at least he did it though. You know, he took on that, you know, and basically to leave a group at the pinnacle of the group to just say, yo, I'm not getting paid enough. Or I should be getting more money just to leave. It could have went real bad for him. You know,
Right.
he could have never, you know, now he's Cube, but he could have been just another dude that used to rap, right?
Yeah.
So you had you had America's Most Wanted, The Predator. I believe The Predator has Today Was a Good Day, I think, if I'm mistaken. You got Death Certificate, Lethal Injection, you know, Laugh Now. He had like a bunch of albums I think he's kind of slept on. I think when people kind of forget his contribution to like West Coast hip hop. You know what I'm saying? Hip hop in general, but West Coast hip hop.
Gotcha. All right. So number 4, I got Tupac. I mean, he was just like a game changer. I remember Me Against the World is one of my favorite Pac albums for sure.
Yeah, it was crazy.
I remember getting I don't know if you still I got like a dub from my boy. Like
but when the Maxwell joints.
Yeah, he had the tape. Brought that joint to school. I don't know. I might have been in like 7th grade. And yeah, like to this day, one of the most slept on Tupac songs, at least to me, like Can You Get Away?
Can You Get Away?
I used to just keep rewinding that joint in the Walkman. On that joint, All Eyes on Me. You know, obviously it's crazy. The Machiavelli joint was tough. You know, he went out big. One of the most disrespectful diss records ever. So just a lot of great music. I mean, when you could put, I mean, I'm sure you know you don't have to agree with it, but like when you could put Pop number 4, like that's just a testament of like what the '90s was really like.
Oh yeah, '90s was crazy, and that's the thing. So it was so subjective with music. So it's like you can have somebody at a certain level and vice versa, but it's like you can't really be mad at that because there's so much music out there. It's like it's like what you like. Like, you know what I'm saying? If you like conscious rap, you might say, I don't know, De La Funky Homo Sapien was your favorite rapper. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you could say that, I'm like, all right, cool. You know, you get it. You know what I'm saying? De La Soul is my favorite rap group. Like, it's cool.
Right. So I had Pac number 4.
Pac number 4. All right. Number 3, I have Nas. Nas as my number 3. I think he's like, you know, again, he always says like a street poet, but he really is a street poet though. Right. Like his wordplay is just phenomenal. Like some of the bars from his first album, it still goes over people's heads. Like something he's saying, he did that when he was like 18 years old.
Right.
Like when he was like, yo, that buck that bought the bottle could have struck the lotto. Like things like that he's thinking about, like sneaking a Uzi on the island with my army jacket on, and people aren't like saying that stuff even to this day. He makes timeless music as well. I put him in the vein of like a Cool G rap. You know, other influential artists from the '80s era, like as far as like the swag, like Slick Rick. He had like a flair to him. You know what I'm saying? I think that's why he's so successful now, to where it's like he's just being himself. Like he can rap. To me, he can do things other rappers can't do. Like he can rap, and Nas is like close to Jay-Z's 50 something. He got to be like, you know, late 40s, right? But we don't even think about that when we see him rap. It's like he can be 60 years old and get on something. And I'm not gonna say like, why are you rapping? like you know what I'm saying? It doesn't matter. Like I don't know whether his cadence, his flow, just he always been himself, you know. And throughout that time, of course, he had Illmatic, you know, which to me was an EP, but it was like what 8-9 songs. Back then, you were getting big, like, you know, larger songs. You were getting like larger albums. I'm sorry, you were getting like what, like 16 sometimes. Yeah. But he just gave you 9 or 8 tracks of heat. And then to me, It Was Written is better than Illmatic. And we mentioned that like back like last year on our top albums. Like It Was Written to me just solidified who he was. You know what I'm saying? He switched over to like, you know, Esco. It was different. You know what I'm saying? Just from the whole casino vibe of just the whole thing. Then the Firm Biz, firm that he put together, like it's crazy. So that's my number 3.
Number 3, I got Nas. Right. You know, a lot of stuff you said, Illmatic, It Was Written, and like some people get offended when you say It Was Written is better. I think it's a testament to him growing as an artist. Yeah, everybody loves Illmatic, and to say that he did something better than that after, that just shows growth.
And it's how old you are when it comes out. So it's like if you're 18, Illmatic comes out, like, yo, I remember what I was doing. I was 18. I was riding the train, blah, 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 blah. But all right, if Illmatic comes out and I'm 12, and then It Was Written comes out and I'm 14, 15, now I can see from the message, like that fake thug, no love, you get the slut. Like from the intro, you get what he's saying, and some stuff you can't get. So yeah, it shouldn't be no problem.
I got Nas number 3.
Nas. All right. Number 2, I got the King of New York, Big. I got Big as number 2. It was a short run for him, if you think about it in hindsight, you know what I'm saying? Because I think I heard Big the first time in 92, 93, and he passed in 97, March. So he probably had like a 4-year run. You know what I'm saying? He really only had one album that came out when he was alive, in the Junior Mafia album, and the Lil' Kim album, which he was all over that. But you really didn't have that much the body of work he didn't really have. Because I think that his death, like when Pac passed, he had so much work. He was like a workaholic. I think because he had a feeling something was gonna happen to him.
But you know what? For the era that we're talking about, he had plenty of albums. I mean, he had plenty of work for it. Now, if you want to go like long term,
yeah, you're right.
Because if you really want to break it down, Life After Death is a double. Ready to Die is, and then he had, like you said, the work with Lil' Kim. So he had plenty of work. If we're just talking about a decade,
you think so?
I mean, 3 albums.
But see, I don't count the. It's funny because I don't count the double, even though for record sales it's a double, right? I count it as one.
All right, but even still, Life After Death, and even the 2.
But even with Life After Death, it seemed like to me we got cheated out of that album because like it was hot, it was dope, but we didn't see him do anything with it. So it was like the album came out and it was out,
right? And
then it's like, all right, what now? You have videos with him not in it. You know what I'm saying? Like it didn't feel the same way.
That influenced a lot of it too. I mean, you got Hypnotized, and that was really it.
That was really good. Hypnotized, that was it. You didn't get nothing else from the album with him. You know what I'm saying? So kind of like you were like, all right, he did it. It's dope, but I don't see him. You know what I'm saying? So I had him at number 2. And then like probably one of the best lyricists ever, arguably, but I think probably one of the best storytellers ever too, and songmaker. You can't really, sometimes he had bars and he can tell a story. He probably had that entire package. Like he had everything, you know what I'm saying? And his albums again was Ready to Die and Life After Death. So he's my number 2. That's number 1, right?
No, I got number 2. I got Jay-Z number 2.
Number 2.
Well, I mean, look, he's got Reasonable Doubt. He's got Volume 1, 2, and 3, all in the 90s. I wasn't a huge fan of 3, but I like Volume 1 better than Reasonable Doubt.
Volume 1's tough.
I like Volume 2. He got the Reservoir Dogs on there.
Yeah.
He got the joint with Bleak. What's the name of it?
Coming of Age. 1 and 2.
Yeah, Coming of Age. He got Money Cash Hoes.
He got Money Anything.
Yeah, Money Anything. So even if you take, I didn't even know Volume 3 came out. Volume 3 came out in 99 on the sneak.
It came out December of 99.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, it was our freshman year in college.
Yeah, freshman year in college, like during winter time.
So even if you take that one out, I mean, between Reasonable Doubt, Volume 1, which is tough. I love You Can't Love Me and Lucky Me off there. Those are my joints.
Oh yeah, definitely.
In Volume 2 with, like I said, Reservoir Dogs and all that stuff. I got him number 2, man, and that's not even counting Volume 3, which I thought was not. I mean, Nas had Nostradamus. In 89, and that was
but it got bootleg though. The real Nostradamus was dope with Project Window. A lot of stuff came on Lost Tapes with Blazer 50 and things like that. Mm-hmm. But the thing about the whole thing that had me going back and forth when I did my list too, is I was like, damn, when I think of the 90s, did I look at Hov as being Hov?
See, I didn't look at it like that though.
Okay, see, I look at him as being Hov, like as far as like I was a fan, of course, loved him, loved his music, but did I looked at people that I felt changed, like Hov to me at the time, it was like he was nice at rapping, but he didn't never know how long he was going to be rapping. Like it was kind of like, I'm rapping, I'm doing this because I'm nice at it. I'm gonna do the Hustlers theme. I'm gonna give you 96. I don't want to do 90. I don't want to do Volume 1 because Big just died, but I'm gonna do it anyway. I throw Sunshine on there. You know what I'm saying? Like he was kind of like, I guess you know what he's gonna get.
You looked at it as you were immersed in the 90s, not like looking back now.
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly.
All right,
I
that's
looked
fair.
at it as what I was doing at that time,
Right.
and then trying to go back in my head, going like, all right, we know Hov is one of the goats, like we know that, but back then I wasn't thinking he was going to be a goat.
Right.
I was thinking he's just somebody I like rap, but when I think about people that move the needle, you had like your Bigs, like the Snoops that moved the needle. You were like, yo, who is this type of thing? That's kind of what I
That's
thought
fair.
about.
That's
All
fair.
right. So we got number one. All right, number one. We know who that's going to. I gotta ask that. It's going to Pac. Skilo, yeah, which was a little bit taller. You gotta go to Pac, man. Like I think Pac, man, this dude did. I mean, Big too as well, but Pac did all this stuff really by the age of 25, really by 24.
Right.
Because his birthday I think is in June.
Mm-hmm.
Passed away in September. Don Illuminati came. 7 Day Theory came out after he died, so he had to record it. Whatever, 25 years, right? Did all this stuff. Actor, hip hop artist, activist. You know what I'm saying? I think his music was the most impactful for the time period. Like you look at like Big, love Big to death, but what songs that came out in the 90s by Big or anybody of that vein that will move people the way Pac's music did? Like Dear Mama, Keep Your Head Up. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like Big had great songs. He was great. But you can't sit there and go like, damn, like, it's people crying over this song.
Right.
Like, you know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying Pac was the best lyricist. It's not even about that. He was a dope lyricist, but he wasn't the best lyricist. We know that. It's more about his cadence, his delivery, and his subject matter, and his work ethic. So I think he was the hugest star of the decade. You know, we look at, and I kind of embody all this in my decision. We look at the movies, like you got Juice, Poetic Justice, Above the Rim, Bullet, Gridlock, Gang Related, all before 25. Albums, All Eyes on Me, just not any type of order, but you got All Eyes on Me, Me Against the World, Not Moving My 7 Day Theory, Still I Rise, it's strictly for my you know what, right? It's a PG show, so I won't say it, but he had all this stuff, and like you didn't see that. So I think that if we had like social media now in the 90s, like when him or people like Big, I'm saying Pac right now, say he's number one, it would be crazy.
Right.
Like, and I don't think kids understand, or people that wasn't around, they don't understand how big of a star this dude was. I don't think I even realized how big of a star he was until he passed, and I started looking around and seeing certain things like, yo, people going crazy. Like, I didn't really, I thought it was more like, I like him. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't know how big the world is. So, like, that's like, I can't even think anybody right now, if they pass away, it's nobody rapping right now that has that impact in all those areas if they pass away. Musically, Drake.
Oh, I'm about to say on you, maybe not. Yeah.
Yeah, musically, but even Drake with his music, he's not in movies. He's not in Hollywood. Like he did the Grassy, but I mean,
it depends on who you ask. Because there's like
it's subjective.
There's like 13 and 14-year-old boys and girls who will be like in tears if that happened. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Of course, you're right. But I'm thinking for is more not just the emotional impact of like, I mean like the entertainment world. Like when Tupac died, they was like, yo, he might be the next like Denzel Washington, yo. Like people looking at him like that, like he can just stop rapping and act. We never seen that though.
Yeah.
So he's my number one though. So all right, who's your number one? Number one?
I got Big. B.I.G. King of New York. I mean, we gotta say it. Life After Death is my favorite album of all time. So of course that played a huge role in it. I'm still listening to it to this day. Just a lot of joints, a lot of depth, not a lot of fillers at all, really. Even the song even the joint with like Little Kim, you know what I'm saying? Like,
what would you do?
Yeah, but that joint was hard.
Yeah, what's up?
You know, Down to the Second Gear, Downfall, You're Nobody.
Yeah.
Joint with R. Kelly, joint with the Locks, the intro, Sky's the Limit, Missing You.
Yo, the thing is though, we talked about this before, and we always said like a lot of those, like they say now it's drug using music. It used to be drug dealing music.
Yeah.
Right? But it seems like even the subject matter was all about death for the two top artists in the 90s. And they both passed away. They were rapping about their death in some form or fashion, kind of putting those words in the atmosphere, and they were gone. You know what I'm saying? So
I think they just rap what they felt though. You know what I'm saying? Like,
oh yeah, no doubt.
Whether subconsciously or consciously?
I think a lot. I think Biggs was. This is outside looking in, was subconscious. I think Pac was conscious.
Yeah, he had already been shot.
Yeah. I think Big is kind of like, yo, this is what's going on. People got some haters out there. People saying this, that, but like whatever. He's not thinking like, yo, they really gonna try to kill me type of thing. You know what I'm saying? Like Tupac's like, yo, they're gonna try to kill me. Like someone just try to kill me, so someone probably gonna do it. You know what I'm saying? So it's funny how the music just changed like that, though.
Yeah.
But another question: do you think when someone passes, you know, someone goes to the forefront? That's life, right? So I think some of the artists we named benefited indirectly, some directly from the passing of Big and Tupac.
Yeah.
So I mean, we know, I say I think that like DMX would have had his lane, but I think Tupac kind of let DMX have a lane too. Like DMX is gonna do his thing, but I think as far as like rapping with the shirt off, the bandana and stuff like that, like nobody wasn't really doing that. You know what I'm saying? The tattoos over here and even dabbling in the acting. I mean, you had like Cube doing acting. Like, Pop was acting. Like it was like different. Like, he was like getting like a list of roles and knocking them out.
Yeah.
And then you had LL doing it too. But then you think about Big. Jay-Z wouldn't be Jay-Z if Big was alive. Not because he didn't have the talent to do it.
Nah, that's fair.
Yeah, he would be Jay-Z maybe as far as maybe not even on business side, because he wouldn't have the opportunities, because he wouldn't have been that king, quote unquote, king of New York. You know what I'm saying? Like, so it's kind of weird how that stuff works out, man. But who's some of your honorable mentions?
I had Scarface in the mix. Yeah. Definitely one of my favorite rappers. Raekwon, and I had Redman.
Cool.
Some of my couple of my honorable mentions.
Yeah, I had Big Pun, because I think that Capital Punishment album just was crazy. Like even from the beat nuts off the books, from when I first heard them, it just was nuts. I had Jay-Z in there, of course. I had DMX, had LL. Because LL was doing a lot of things on the radar in the 90s. And he was putting stuff out. He wouldn't put, like, I'm not saying you sit there and buy his albums like crazy, maybe the early 90s, but he'll come out and throw out Ill Bomb with Flex. You like, yeah, that's LL? Then he'll do the Ripper Returns, then he do 4, 3, 2, 1. You know what I'm saying? Then he like, Who Shot You? He was putting a lot of stuff out there that we were like, Hey Lover. He had mad songs, Lounging. He had mad songs, and you're like, damn. He was also doing the acting thing too. And the last person I had Common. I think Common had a good run, because he kind of changed his flow. He was like Common from Chicago. He was Common Sense, then Lyricist Lounge Common. Then he went to like Resurrection Common, and then he went to Knitted Hats and Knitted Pants Common. You know what I'm saying? He went a lot of different places.
With Erykah Badu, that's why.
Well, that's what it is. But yeah, I put Common in there too.
All right. So top 5 albums of the 90s. All right.
Oh man.
Number 5, I got Ready to Die. Biggie. We know that was a dope album, highly anticipated album. I think it was like 94 when that dropped. He had the What, Suicidal Thoughts, One More Chance. Like, I mean, the
regular one, the remix is
bananas. The remix is different. That to this day is I don't know a video I enjoyed more than that. Like
everybody was in it. Everybody was in it.
Yeah.
It was so crazy because it was like Puff was he invented the remixes to me to that effect. Where he would do something, it's like, yo, it's like a different song. Like, it don't sound like the same song.
Yeah.
So you wanted the remix so bad. Like, when I first heard that album, matter of fact, my bad, I didn't hear that album first. I didn't get the album. I would hear the singles. I was looking for the One More Chance remix on the album. I'm like, yo, what's this? It's not a One More Chance song. Like, and I heard the real one.
Like, yo, nah.
Like, it's not it. It's not it, yeah.
That was amazing. Yeah, so I got that number 5.
All right, my number 5 have Outcast Aquemini. I just think that album, because the people that don't know, you should know, but I think Big Boy is Aquarius, and I think Dre is Gemini, so they made Aquemini. That's like the album that Dre started doing. Dre not acting different, but Dre started kind of doing this different thing. Like, I believe he had like Skew on the Barbie. He had different songs on there. And I think they had Raekwon on there with Skew on the Barbie, if I'm not mistaken. But like, that was the album I think that, like I said earlier, that kind of like set them apart. I think it's their best album of the of the '90s, personally.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so that's why I play that album to this day, honestly.
All right, number 4 I got It's Dark and Hell is Hot. DMX.
Yeah,
It's crazy because it's like the first time through, it wasn't an album that like I got on the wave right away. I was just kind of like I didn't know what to do with the album. You know what I'm saying? It was just different, and then it was just crazy. Like yo, this how it made you feel if you were out, if you were in a whip, if you was at like a high school dance, like
make you want to commit a crime. That's what it made you want to commit a crime.
It was just crazy. And to this day, man, great workout music on there.
Yeah, Damien joint. Every song was like it's no to me. The first time I heard it, you know, I remember like Get At Me Dog came out. We went Lil and Ian. We went and we got the album, whatever, the single. We put in the car, and the A side was Get At Me Dog. The B side was Stop Being Greedy.
Yeah.
Right. So we were like, all right, heard Get At Me Dog. Everybody knows that, right? Listen to that. We flipped like, let me hear the Stop Being Greedy. Yo, when I heard that, I said, this is a guy on a different level, yeah. Because when he started flipping
the Rough Riders Anthem remix,
yeah, like he's on a different level, and he's flipping his flow up, and that's what I knew his backstory. It's just me just like listening to music. So yeah, I definitely he owned '98. Yo. The summer '98 was DMX. Yeah. That was a big summer for Def Jam too.
Oh yeah,
the Red Man, Hole.
Mm-hmm.
I think Method Man came out around that time.
Yep.
Crazy.
All right, so that's my number 4.
All right, my number 4 is Nas. It Was Written. You know, again, just like one of the perfect album. You know, Black Girl Lost on there. Like it's just so many things that Nas was touching and tapping into, but I don't think we ever heard except for Triumph, Inspector Dex, Bomb Atomically. That might be one of the top verses ever, right? But Nas is Fake Thug, No Love, You Get the Slug, CB4 Gusto. Like when you hear that, you know exactly what he means. Like it's nothing like it's the hardest thing. You know that as a rapper to start your rhyme, like to start. Yeah. And like he never failed on that. Like from the start of that album, from the message, from the music in the background, the eerie music. You know what I'm saying? Perfect album to me, man. I think that was Nas' best album in the '90s.
Yeah. Number 3, I got Only Built for Cuban Links. Purple Tape. The joint's phenomenal. It's a classic.
Phenomenal word.
Just verbal intercourse, incarcerated Scarfaces. All the songs aren't coming to me right now, but I'm just thinking about. And then we talk about Nas verse on verbal intercourse. Like,
yeah,
I mean that's a GOAT level verse on there, yo.
And he was like 21.
Yeah,
at the time, 21, 22.
But yeah, dope album. I was real huge on Ghostface at that time too, and he was on a lot of the joints. I think Ice Cream's on there.
Yeah, it is on it. Yeah, Ice Cream's on it.
A lot of different joints, but yeah, man, I got that number 3.
They had that running too, because there were so many things that you had Ghostface on it, and I think if I'm mistaken, you had like some tracks with Kappa on it. Then Kappa jumped on that.
He was on Ice Cream too.
On Ice Cream, right? So you had Kappa on it. So it's like it was like between that album and Ghost first album, it was like one big album. To me, it felt like it was just like you can put both of them on and kind of intertwine and just flowed. Again, RZA production. You know what I'm saying? So my number 3 is Tribe Called Quest, Midnight Marauders. I just think that album, like, is just great. Like it's like it was a different pace of an album for that time. So it's like you're listening to it, you hear all these different things. You hear that from the beginning, from Award Tour, from Oh My God, from Electric Relaxation, to everything, and then you just you know like. And Fife's lyrics was on point, and the production was on point. Q-Tip was always doing this thing, and Q-Tip was finding a lot of the samples and the beats. So when you watch the documentary, you'll see that Q-Tip. That's why he produced it. So and Q-Tip also produced a lot on that. Produced some of the Illmatic album too. People didn't know that.
I know that.
He's on it. Him and Large Professor was the one that was telling people, teach people how to produce. So yeah, that's my number 3. I think the album is a perfect album. You know.
All right. Number 2, I got It Was Written. From the message, I gave you power. If I ruled the world, that's when Lauren was on fire. A lot of those joints. I think a Black Girl Lost, Affirmative Action.
Yeah.
Just a lot of joint. My favorite Nas album. Definitely a top 10 album of mine. So yeah, man, and Nas made the transition from Nasty Nas to Esco right there.
Change it up. You can just tell from the way he was dressing, what he was doing. It was no more Columbia rain suits. It was more now he in suits. He in suits with the shirt halfway up with the
man.
Know what I'm saying, whole player vibe.
Yep. So I got that number 2, man.
All right, my number 2, Big, Life After Death. I just think again, it's like picking between your kids, man, with these albums. Right?
Yeah, right.
Like you can't sit there and say, the album is just perfect. First of all, like the album is perfect. And it was one of those things where you were trying to figure out what Big was going to do, right? Because he came out of the Timberland Big, right? Timberland and taking baby pendants and stuff like that from Give Me the Loot. You were like, all right. Then you started seeing him, he's nice. And he did a couple of other songs. You saw the Junior Mafia album coming out with Get Money. It was like a different kind of vibe. When this album came out, I think it was like a shame. Like he figured everything out. He kind of said that, like when we watched the movie, he kind of said, like, this is it. He figured what to do. He knew how to make everything. Like everything was just perfect. You know what I'm saying? So like, you said it before, with Sky's the Limit. I Love the Dough. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? With Hov, you got like it was no fillers. Everything was hot, and it's hard to have. I think it's the best double album in history because you can't, like, knowing what double album, you're gonna have things that All Eyes on Me was up there too, but I put this ahead of it just because it was like hit after hit after hit. Like All Eyes on Me was more like you had some songs that if it was kind of regional, so it had like a lot of West Coast feel of certain songs. If you wasn't really up on it, you might be like, I'm not checking for that one. I'll fast forward. But Life After Death was perfect, man, and that's my number 2. Everyone knows about it.
Yeah, that's my number 1.
It's your number 1?
Yeah, man.
Right.
And favorite album of all time to this day, like I said earlier, it's just and the songs I didn't get to, like the joint with Bone Thugs.
Notorious Thugs.
Notorious Thugs, like he rapped their style and had the best verse. And
that was the first time I heard anybody go into Bone's realm.
Right.
Like even Pac, when he did his, it was for Thug Love. He was rapping like him.
Yeah.
And they had the gunshot going off and everything.
Yeah.
But Big said, nah, I'm going to rap just like them.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And I personally think Big did that on purpose. I think Big said, yo,
he wanted to show versatility. Yeah.
Yeah, and I also think this is in hindsight, me being a fan, that he knew Pac. They had a song with Pac.
So he was like first?
Yeah, Pac's song was first.
Oh, okay.
So he's probably like, yeah, all right. These dudes did with Pac, Thug Love, I hear it. Me and Pac got some quote-unquote beef probably, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's not really a beef, but I'm going to show that I'm nicer than him. Like, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, I'm going to go into that room and I'm just going to rip it. And he definitely came off on that one.
Well, even like the stuff we talk about, you got kicking the door. I got a story to tell.
No, that's about Nas, right?
I did hear that. Kicking the door.
You like your rain on the top with shirtless leprechauns. It's the first show called Willie's Thugs and Rapadons.
Yeah. Other joint. You Know Who Bleeds.
Yeah.
No, I'm just looking at the list. Going back to Cali, like 10 Crack Commandments.
Yeah. Like, you're not gonna see nothing better than that though. The Going Back to Cali one is just sad though. The way he just rapping, he's bounced on the beat. Like it's
even like Nasty Boy was funny, but he was still spitting on it.
Yeah.
Sky's the limit. I mean, I don't know, man. I don't know how anybody could do another double album like that, man. It's just
I don't think so either. I don't think nobody should. They're trying to get out your deal.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
So,
all right.
That's my number 1, man.
It's your number 1. All right, my number 1 comes from my artist of the decade, Pop. Don Illuminati, 7 Day Theory. Like, it's funny, right? Because I heard that album all the way up until I took my entrance exam for college.
Mm-hmm.
So I remember going to the state, to take Montclair to take the test. Had that in my headphones. Took it, waited for my mom to pick me up, and was listening to it outside the student center, right? So I listened to, like, first of all, Bomb First is ridiculous. Like, the way it starts. Hail Mary's crazy. Toss It Up with Casey and JoJo's crazy, right? To Live and Die in LA is crazy. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Blasphemy. Life on the Outlaw, Just Like Daddy's insane. Like, Tupac was one of those artists that, like, he had the dudes and he had the girls.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So I remember, like, I had girls that knew the Just Like Daddy song better than me. They were telling me, like, check this song out, right? We got Crazy, White Man's World, Me and My Girlfriend, which is insane. To me, that Me and My Girlfriend is in Nas's I Gave You Power, or 1A and 1B. And that's why to this day, I cannot stand the Jay-Z and Beyonce's Me and My Girlfriend. I think it's atrocious, and I think it's terrible because I know what the song's supposed to be.
Yeah, it's a different type of song, though.
But don't use the title.
True, I hear you.
Like you got something like I Gave You Power, and it's about, I don't know, a book, right? You're like, yo, nah, like, yo, you can't do that. And then Hold Your Head and Against All Odds, to me, like, so that's 12 tracks, and he just went off and he went in. And I think it's probably like his best work, but I think it was like his most rawest work. Yeah, like it was more like, yo, I don't know what's gonna happen. I'm putting everything out. Whatever they talk about Haitian Jack, he's name dropping people. He's saying that he wasn't saying before. So yeah, that's my number one, man.
All right, so a couple of honorable mentions. I had Reasonable Doubt in the Mix, Volume 1. Yeah. In the mix, All Eyes on Me. Me Against the World was in there. The Score I had in there. But I can't think of the name of it. Oh, Muddy Waters.
Muddy Waters by Redman, yeah.
Definitely in there. So yeah, those are my honorable mention ones.
I had Reasonable Doubt in there. Fuji's The Score, of course. I still had Illmatic in there too as well.
Oh yeah, Illmatic too. Yep.
I had Capital Punishment. I just love that Capital Punishment album, like I always did. And I mean, so many you can pick from, but my last one that I wanted to bring up, I think people kind of slept on. I think she changed the way females rapped and their style. And I also think if it was for her, it wouldn't be a lot of female rappers rapping now. Lil' Kim Hardcore.
I think it's talking about Mia X.
Mia X, yo. Mia X, don't sleep on Mia X. Lil' Kim, though. Now, Lil' Kim and Foxy Brown. And Foxy Brown album was tough, too. But Lil' Kim, I think, Foxy Brown had an album, she had a firm, and she had a lot of other issues that popped up.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Lil' Kim was doing it. Like, she was it. There would be no Megan Thee Stallion without her, no Cardi B without her. Trina, like she was the one that like they copied off of. And you could even say, to a certain extent, Foxy did. Because like Foxy was young. She was like 16, 17. Lil' Kim was like in her 20s. Mm-hmm. You know, early 20s, I'm saying. So yeah, give her a shout out, definitely.
All right. 90s hip hop, golden era. I guess we aging ourselves a little bit, but it is what it is.
It's a good thing.
It's a good thing. Yeah, be interested to hear, what the people have to say. Leave your comments. I know we got some feedback on the, some of the R&B joints. So, been looking forward to hearing what you guys got to say.
Having some dialogue about that.
Yeah.
A lot of people gonna have something to say. They're gonna say like, "Yo, what about KRS?" Like, all right.
Yeah, we ain't talking about the 80s.
Talking about the 80s with KRS. He had a few songs in the 90s though.
Yeah, I mean, not enough to hold weight. Like, if we go
80s. Nah. That's what I'm saying.
90 through 99. So do you Google before you come at us.
For real.
So,
for real.
But yeah, thanks you watching, listening. You catch the Great Minds podcast, YouTube if you're watching here. Anywhere you can listen to podcast, Spotify, Amazon, SoundCloud, and Apple Podcasts. So thanks for joining us again.
Yep. Like and subscribe.
Yes, sir.
Great minds think alike. Podcast. Great minds think alike. Let's rock. You're now tuned into the Great Minds Podcast. 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 Derrick and Vaughn, oh boy, like Cam on a song. Culture safe now, thank God. The panic is gone. Time to heal from the pain. Take the bandages off. You gotta win. The stakes are high like a cannabis bomb. Okay, it's game time. Picture with the balls, that's a FaceTime. Great minds spreading faster than a rumor through the grapevine. Vaughn and Derrick, deserve the merit, all salute him. It's more than just a podcast, show it's like a movie. Vaughn and Derrick, what up? Great minds think alike, it's the Great Minds Podcast. Great minds think alike, it's the Great Minds Podcast. Great minds think alike, it's the Great Minds Podcast. Great minds think alike. You're now tuned into the Great Minds Podcast. You're now tuned into the Great Minds Podcast.